Abraham Lincoln, when he was running for president, made a couple of stops here. He would give speeches on the front lawn.
Other times when they would tell me where they would hear people coming up the steps and the dog would be going crazy. He was downstairs drinking in the tavern. His farmer had came up later in the evening and waited for him, and in that circle was a big tree, and he had hung that guy up until he died.
Joe, if you can hear us, we heard what happened to you, and we feel horrible about that.
Male voice, clear as a bell, that said, "Help me, they're after me."
It's really interesting when you're in here by yourself. Sometimes I swear I've heard music.
Is your name Joe?
And you would hear things or just kind of feel movement, and you go out there and there wouldn't be nothing. Portage County Sheriff actually followed the guy all the way back, ended up arresting him, bringing him back here where he was tried, found guilty, and hung to death.
First time we investigated here, we all heard voices, we saw shadows, several people had things thrown at them. There is documentation of anywhere between 4 and about a dozen deaths, anywhere from little children to elderly people.
The first time we were here, we were sitting on the stairs and actually got growled at.
I came up here and the Bible was on the floor.
It was a very unnerving feeling. It just didn't feel comfortable. It felt very negative.
Bought the place from an old man by the name of Nicholas Stone. He had bought the place originally back in the 70s to restore it. And then when he passed away, the building basically sat empty for about 20 years there, with nobody doing anything to it. My wife was 100% against me buying the building. Well, this right here is what I got from Bob Taft, and this is how I got the historical marker out there. So it was a real big deal for the state. At that time, there was 32 other contestants in this area, and the Stagecoach stop one out of the other 32 buildings in this area to get recognized by the state of Ohio.
All of us on my team, there were 5 of us here that time, we all heard voices, we saw shadows, several people had things thrown at them.
So right now me and Sean's been here at the Stagecoach Inn all day, so we're gonna wait till the sun goes down and get started in the investigation.
It took us about maybe 3 years just to stabilize the building and then eventually to get it restored. This is a drawing of what we had kind of planned on what it would look like when we kind of finished it up.
I've heard voices in here, I've heard several different names called. I've been to a lot of the big name places in this country, Waverly Hills, Mansfield, Moundsville. The Stagecoach Inn has far beyond the activity that any of those places have combined.
Stepping into the Stagecoach Inn for the first time, it was really like somebody had transported you back in time. Joe, are you up here with us right now? If you could knock on something, we would appreciate it. Can you see us?
It's really interesting when you're in here by yourself and you just kind of get real quiet and still. And sometimes I swear I've heard music, just kind of like almost, I don't want to say voices, but more like kind of like a laughter or a conversation kind of going on, and then it'd be gone.
Are there any spirits besides Joe? Did you hear that? If that was you, could you come in this room with us? You hear like voices?
Yeah, I heard footsteps too. I hear voices again.
Could you do something really loud for us, please? Keep hearing footsteps. We appreciate the knocks. Could you tell us why you're still here? Sean, is that my shadow?
I'm not seeing.
Do you see anything? What's right here? Is that just bricks?
That's bricks.
Okay.
So your shadow's off to the right of you. Watch the steps to the left. Sounds like a hard woman. Yeah, it sounds like something getting kicked or something. Oh shit. Scared the shit out of me. It almost sounded like growling at first. You guys don't really like to talk to people. Here's your chance.
The f***'s hitting me.
Door.
It's like it just ran right into me. See if that hold stays open when it's open. It's like it just hit me right in the back.
Yeah, the damn thing just shut right on you.
Is it staying open?
Yeah, it ain't moving.
Can you shut the door again? Can you shut the door again? Do you hear that female talking? In here. Go to the right. Wait, shh, shh, shh. Stop.
Sounds like something got dragged across the floor.
Yeah, but I keep hearing a female voice.
Walk in here. Is there a female on here with us? Could it be Joe's lover?
There is a runaway slave in this building. Several people have talked with him. I've talked with him. We've gotten his names on several different people on several different occasions have gotten the same name. So we're assuming it's Joe is the runaway slave's name. But there is a lot of activity here. This building has never been investigated until we opened it up in September. And these people that are here, the permanent residents here, are curious. They want to come out and talk. They haven't talked to anybody in 100 years or more. They're doing their share of talking.
Other times I've been in here and you would hear things or just kind of feel movement, and you go out there and there wouldn't be nothing.
Do you like the fact that they're trying to restore this inn? Probably take it back to the time when you were used to it. If you like what they're doing, could you please let us know? Joe, if you can hear us, we heard what happened to you. We feel horrible about that. Can you talk to us about that a little bit? This place is pretty dark, isn't it? Well, you can't see anything. Really, in this room, you're getting like a constant 3. Shit. You tell me there's a door there.
And the way the book described it is the sea captain was beat to death with a blue beech club. And that's a type of tree or a wood. And they must have found blood and such on it to point it to the guy. The fella who was with this captain, they came back to the hotel here. But the Portage County Sheriff actually followed the guy all the way back, ended up arresting him, bringing him back here to Ravenna, Ohio, where he was tried, found guilty, and hung to death. Them are 2 of the stories that I know of where there was actual records of deaths that were related directly to the building here.
If you speak, we could hear you. Is there anybody in here with us right now? Is your name Joe? I thought you said Joe. Joe, if that was you, we could hear you. Can you hear us? You say yes. Joe, who killed you? Died by White? Joe, if you could see us, can you say yes? If we're making you angry or upsetting you, we don't mean to. We just want to communicate with you. Joe, tell us your last name. There's a tree right outside this window where they hung you. Can you see that tree? Instead, cut it down. If you've been dead for all these years, why are you still here? Cletus, are you here? Are you in this room right now with us? It's getting colder in here, don't you think?
Why'd you steal the horses?
But there's a lot of tales of spirits from the spirit world, the Indians. This one woman, Mrs. Corbett, and there's a road named after them up here. Their family's been here probably since the beginning. And anyway, there are graveyards back on their property there. And she says she can remember waking up in the middle of the night and being terrified and seeing things out in that graveyard and that just, it scared her a lot.
They said that Bible's moved off that shelf a couple times. Can you do that for us?
I came up here to this room. I call it the slave Bible room because this is where the access to the room where the slaves would hide is, plus the Bible on the mantle. I came up here and the Bible was on the floor open. So I picked it up, set it back up there. I came back up 2 days later and it was in the same spot on the floor.
Been rather eerie down in the basement. Don't know of anything that really had occurred down there. I do know they used to butcher animals down there and serve them in the kitchen upstairs.
We're gonna get ready to head down to the basement right now. This has got to be one of the creepiest ass basements you could ever step foot in, so.
When we were in here doing an overnight investigation, a team member of ours saw something in the basement. So we took off to the basement to find out what was down in the basement, if it was an animal or a person, and found there was nothing down there. And we had shut off all our equipment when we were turning around to leave. And there was a ball of light that bounced across the room and made a 90-degree turn along the bottom of the wall. And the windows are at the top of the wall. There was nothing to reflect. We spent 45 minutes chasing sounds around in the basement and balls of light, and never found what was causing the light.
Whoa, did you hear that upstairs? Whoa, did you hear that upstairs?
Like something's walking above us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably the stupidest thing we did. Ouch. Oh, you have to put it back.
Or if you can go up there. Shit.
Four of us sitting in chairs, just relaxing and talking and looking at some pictures of the building. And there was a door behind us. No one was near it, touching it. And something hit it so hard that it sounded like a grown man hitting it with a 2x4. Went out, there was nothing outside. Everything outside was in its normal place. Went upstairs, there was nothing upstairs that had been moved. We have no idea what caused the sound.
All right, I know I'm in the basement, but since there ain't no floor above me, where I think the kitchen area would have been, is there any women in here that would like to talk to us?
If you're down here, please let us know.
Is there going to be another wall that's going to cave in?
This is probably not the best room to be standing in, considering the whole freaking half the building fell into this room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there really ain't no quick way out of here.
Nope. Head back that way.
One weekend in particular, there was a group here investigating, and I went upstairs and there was a different feeling. It was a very unnerving feeling. It just didn't feel comfortable. It felt very negative. That stayed that whole night. Now, I don't know if they were provoking, I don't know, but it felt different, and it did not feel comfortable.
You know what would be neat is, if they had hiding spots for stuff, like some people would have pulled out stones to hide stuff behind it, or you think they would have done stuff like that back then too?
So right now we got a device sitting out in the hallway where we've been hearing footsteps and stuff. So if anything comes close to that meter, it'll set off an alarm and the laser grid will light up and hopefully we'll see something. If you're the one walking back and forth in that hallway, could you walk into this room right now? Are you not used to seeing all these lights and equipment? Hear that?
Yeah, it sounded like it came from upstairs.
Want to try an EVP session? If you're in here, can you try as hard as you can to speak with us, please?
Joe, my name's Joe.
Wait. That was loud walking.
If you're in here, can you try as hard as you can to speak with us, please?
I felt that.
Yeah, it was freaking loud too.
If you're able to walk around the building, I'm sure you're able to do something else. Could you please give us a sign? My name's Josh. Could you tell me your name?
My name's Josh. Could you tell me your name?
Josh doing that cubby hole.
Yeah, he fell off the other side of the wall.
Are you glad they cut down the tree? Could you imagine knowing that they was at like every Friday you got to go watch a hanging?
Crazy how they did stuff back then.
Hear that? What's that?
That's really loud. It's like every time we talk about the hanging and stuff. What they say they did like a public hanging like once a week.
Right outside. Pretty much, I guess, right out here in the middle of the street it would have been. Anybody's up here, can you tell me how old you are?
Right now we're sitting up on the second floor here at the Stagecoach Inn. And I'll tell you, I haven't been this cold in a long time. But in this area, we keep hearing footsteps. And then we heard what sounded like a door close. So this second floor has definitely been the most active. If you were the one walking out here in the hallway, is there a reason why you stay on this floor? Keep hearing that walking sound.
Yeah, I think Josh finds the coldest spot in the house.
Could you hit something real hard for us, please?
When I first walked through this building, you can actually feel a lot of the spirits throughout this building. It was very active. It was almost like they were bound. A lot of different feelings of anger. That was probably a good way to put it, anger through here. Especially going up those back stairs, going to the upstairs. Strong, strong feeling of a death on the stairs, like somebody has actually fallen. The first time we were here, we were sitting on the stairs and actually got growled at, sitting on those stairs. We were asking for a name of who was there, and they growled at us. The slave room, the energy in the slave room was nuts, just absolutely nuts. Last night we connected with the, we believe the man that was hung for horse stealing. Just the activity in here is just amazing. It seems like every time I come in here, it gets more and more and more and more. Very active. The spirits really want to talk. I think that you guys are going to get a really, really good night. I certainly hope so.
It's really eerie walking around in this building in pitch dark because you keep hearing these voices off in the distance, and then you'll hear like somebody having a conversation in the next room. My brothers and I have been to a lot of haunted locations around the country, and I don't think we've ever been to a place where you could hear so many different voices, and it was as if the people were standing right there with you, having a conversation. What was the group that was up here?
I have no idea.
It's like that. I forget what it was called. Joe, we're going to take off. Did you like having us here? It's weird how like this floor, and the first floor feel fine, but the second floor is creepy. Ain't that weird? Joe, did you enjoy having us here tonight?
You can contact me either through the Stagecoach Inn page on Facebook. You can contact us through our website at www.aperrequest.net. We offer tours during the day. Starting in 2015, we're going to be offering weekend daylight investigations. There's some people that like to investigate during the day, so we'll be running them from noon to 6 on weekend. And we'll still have the overnight investigations from 8 to 5. We're all in this to restore this building back to as close to the original as it was.
Really no idea what I was kind of getting into. But it was just like it was kind of crying out to me, you know what I mean? It seems like it kind of talks to you. Just like that lady there, that's why I had that plaque made for her, because she wanted me to remember to never give up, and you know, it's worth, you know, fighting City Hall even to save something like this.